Hello and welcome to another video for Factorio. This is actually going to be a update overview for a huge update that just came out for 0.12. This for anyone who's followed the updates about the game and such and the Friday facts, this is probably the biggest update in the game's history, at least since I've been playing, and it's huge. So it changes a lot about the game. Graphical things, the ending of the game specifically is quite a bit different, and there's many different changes, and I thought it would be good to do an overview video. I'm also going to be doing a new single player let's play for this version, but I wanted to do this video so I didn't clog up the let's play with change notes. But yeah, so I have 7 pages I printed out the stuff so I could read it since I'm a noob and don't have 2 monitors, but I have 7 pages of changes here, and before you freak out, I'm not going to read through all of them. A lot of them are kind of some behind the scenes stuff, some stuff I don't even understand, and there will be a link in the description of this video to the forum post on the Factorio forums that goes over all the changes where I printed these from. So you can look over those in detail if you want. I'm going to go over kind of the big things, mostly just optimization changes that are important, and new items and new item graphics and stuff. You know, a lot of the other stuff I probably won't go over. There's a lot of scripting stuff that I probably won't go over, but yeah, so let's get started. One thing that is important to note is this will pretty much break, 0.12 will pretty much break any mods that you currently have. Now, I've heard there's an easy way to fix them. The dev team is actually releasing a script or a guide or something for modders that will make it easy to fix. And yeah, but it's just a heads up. I would definitely not try this with mods, and it's probably best to maybe not even try it in a game you've already started. Like in a game you're already part way through, because some of these changes would pretty much shut down your factory and mess a lot of things up. So I just wanted to throw that in there at the start here ahead of time. And yeah, so I know it's nighttime, but I think the command to make it day all the time actually doesn't work right now. It's a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm just going to read down the list here. The most important thing, which is why it's at the top, the game is now finished by launching the rocket with satellite. So if you remember, the previous versions, all the way up until this one, the end game was a little bit unfinished. Well, maybe more than a little bit. Pretty much you just built your rocket defense and set it down, and then you clicked on it and told it to bring in the people who were supposed to come in or whatever, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't even a sprite for it. Well, now the graphic hasn't changed, which is kind of interesting. They'll probably change it eventually, but it's now a rocket silo, and this is like the end game. This is how you complete the game now in 0.12. You have to build this thing and then launch the rocket, and later in actually 0.13, once they get 0.12 done, they're going to continue with it to the point where you launch it and then go build some type of platform factory in space or something. It sounds pretty awesome. But for this, you build the rocket silo. So 1,000 steel plate, 1,000 concrete, 100 pipe, 200 processing units, 200 electric engine units, and you may have noticed some things there. I'll go over them shortly. So we have our rocket silo. I obviously used the command to spawn it in. Put it here. It is big. It's I think it's 12 by 12 if I remember correctly. I could test it with inserters or belts or some such. But yeah, so you have this here. And then if you click on it, it shows you a percentage for how complete it is. And then pretty much you need to insert these products here to create rocket parts. And for each rocket part, the percentage goes up by maybe 1 or 2. I'm not exactly sure on the math. I didn't test it very in depth, but yeah. So now we need to insert these 3 things, and I've given them to myself. to go over what they actually are, you need low density structure, which is pretty cheap, as you can see there. You need rocket fuel, which is just made from 10 solid fuel. You need rocket control unit, which is a processing unit and a level 1 speed module, and then you need a satellite. And obviously some of those things weren't in here. The satellite wasn't. That goes in at the end, and you'll only need, I think, one of them. But it's a little bit more expensive. 40 of the low density structures, 100 solar panels, or sorry, not 40, 100 low density structures, 100 accumulators, 5 radar, 100 processing units, and 50 rocket fuel. So pretty much you have to insert these guys in. So just as a very quick demonstration, I need, sorry if I'm going a little fast, but otherwise this video would be like an hour and a half long if I went through everything like at a super slow pace. So, and I just put everything. Okay. So, if we insert these in here, they apparently have no energy. And that's because I was a derp and didn't connect this. But yeah, let's go over, let's actually, okay, so let's finish this. As you can see, he's inserting in, and I'm going to replace that with a fast inserter. And I would believe that the stack size bonus would apply to this. So as you can see, it's making rocket parts, and each one brings it up by 1%. So you need to get to 100%, and you can kind of see like how many of these you need and then how expensive these are. So it gets very expensive. But yeah, so that's the main change. Okay, added chain signals. They can be used to make more complicated junctions and stations without deadlock. So this is a train thing. I'm not going to show it off again because this would be like an hour and a half tutorial. But if I go ahead and give myself some track here, because obviously you have to place it onto a track, then I can demonstrate. Okay, so if we just have some track here, which clearly I can't even place straight, then we place these bad boys down. You can see they look a bit different. Again, I'm not exactly sure how they work. This is an overview for the patch changes, not a tutorial really. So yeah, let's see. Got that. Added, this is a big one, added personal roboport as modular armor equipment. So I didn't give myself one because the name for it is not what you would see here command wise, so I couldn't do it. But pretty much what this does, it can be inserted armor, allows to launch construction bots. So pretty much this is a roboport that you can stick as a module into your power armor. And as you can see, it has a construction area of 30 by 30. Logistics robots don't interact with this. Obviously, if you're still in the normal network, they'll work with you. But it has a 10 robot limit, and yeah, pretty much it's really cool because it makes like building outposts with robots a lot easier, because you can just bring a ton of construction robots and have this in your armor module slot and be good to go. So there's that. One other note about that is once it's active, it uses materials and robots in the player's inventory, which obviously makes sense. Supports all tasks construction robots can do, like building blueprints, repairing structures, and deconstructions. Added logistic trash fields to the character GUI. That's what these are. This is pretty much a feature a lot of people have been wanting and some people have asked mods for, but it's now in the main game. So say I didn't want like these chain signals anymore. Obviously I have no logistics network, so on and so forth. But if I stick them in here, if I had a logistics network, this would tell robots to, logistic robots, I think, or construction, to grab this from me and go stick it like in a storage chest. Pretty much it's making me a passive provider, or a active provider for whatever is in this area here. And yeah, so that is really cool. That's something I wanted for a long time. Added combinators. arithmetic combinator, decider combinator, and constant combinator. And these allow more advanced manipulation with the circuit logic network. If you go to the forum post for these changes, which is again in the description, there's a link under that change to a Friday Facts that like goes in depth about it that you can see. I'm just going to show off these graphics here. Let me give myself a light if I can. Lamp. Derp. Okay, so okay, well, screw that. But here is the graphics for them, or the sprites rather. Again, I'm not exactly sure how they work, but yeah, so they're like an addition to the circuit network in regards to like how you used to be able to use like smart inserters and smart chests and red and green wires to do stuff. This pretty much makes it like way more complex and able to do a lot more things. The lamp storage tank, small pump, and offshore pump can be connected to the circuit network, which you know, so you can like tell it like when to turn, you know, lights on and off and stuff. So you can like do like light shows or do riding with lights or whatever. This one's really important. Multiplayer latency hiding. Pretty much it gives the impression that some common tasks are performed immediately, rather than like maybe the little bit of lag you would normally experience in previous versions in multiplayer. You know, apply some character movement, mining, building itself, fast replacing, opening GUIs, etc. Stone brick can be used to build stone paths. So if I demonstrate here, I have some stone brick that, or I did at some point. And yeah, so stone brick actually has kind of a purpose now. You can actually place it down to just create pathing. And it goes kind of wherever you want it to go, fill it in. It can go under stuff that's already placed. And what it does is it's a 30% walking speed increase. As you can see, that compared to this. This increases your walking speed. And then concrete can be created. The concrete can be used to build concrete floors, 40% walking speed increase. And concrete is somewhere in here. Here we go, concrete. So it's, if I just give myself a little to demonstrate what it looks like. Concrete actually looks really pretty cool. You can obviously just use this as decorative as well, but it really makes you walk faster. And then along with that is a terrain modifies vehicle friction force. So sand is a 1.8, grass is 1.6, dirt 1.4, stone path 1.1, and concrete 0.8. So the lower the number, the less friction there is, meaning the thing moves faster. Trees degenerate slowly when there's high pollution levels, which is really cool. So the environment actually kind of changes based on your pollution. And to go with that, you notice the tree graphics are different. They're much nicer. There's a lot more variety. Obviously in different biomes, I think there's different colors. And something to really demonstrate quickly is when you chop it down, it actually kind of falls down into a bunch of like limbs, which is pretty cool. And another change is that trees actually heal. So if I shoot that and come back in a minute, it will be healed up a little bit. So they passively heal, which is kind of nice because that way, like when you go through with a shotgun, it won't permanently leave all these health bars everywhere. Lab research is now continuous. So pretty much science packs have a progress bar of usage. So it doesn't just like, if a science pack gets used like halfway and then the research is done, previously it would have just like gotten rid of the science pack, I believe, but now it actually has like, it leaves that bit less, so the rest of that science pack can be used in the continued research. This one is very important. There's actually a mod, but now it's in the game. Assembling machine input slot can contain more than, oh sorry, not this bit. Assembling machine input slot can contain more than the usual stack size when the recipe requirement demands it, 3 times recipe demand. So normally, like, stack sizes are 100. They give an example here. The rocket silo requires 1,000 steel, while the stack size is 100 for steel, but the input stack can hold enough. So for things that require more than the normal stack size, the assembling machines will hold it. Added updated sounds for biters, spitters, worm, spawner, flamethrower, tank, lasers, etc. New soundtrack. Mousing over a train will show its current path and blocks it can't enter. Locomotives now show the contents of attached cargo wagons and their tooltip. Trees regenerate health. Added support for transferring content / settings when fast replacing all entity types. Added modules to alt view for entities that support modules. So now in this, what they mean by alt view is this advanced info view. If you were to stick modules in something, it would actually show the modules in the alt view. And so you know what's in stuff without having to click on it. Factorio can now run as a dedicated server without graphics. Basic PvP. New forces can now be created and merged back together. A ceasefire can be agreed upon between forces. Enabled mining tree sus ghosts while holding the blueprint to be built. Added explosive cannon shells for your tank. Building blueprints over existing ghosts restores the ghost time to live to full. Disable loading of older saves. Okay, here's a very important one to note that you really need to keep in mind, and this is one of the reasons you probably don't want to use this in your games that you're already like partway through in saved games, is items on transport belts don't go off the belt at the end, so the transport belt has to go directly in front of the required inserter. So, you know, like how if you had an assembling machine that was making something and you had an inserter, that it was actually technically optimal to run the belt up to one before it and not under it, because if you did, the inserter wouldn't grab from the end. That has been changed with the new transport belt logic. So anyone who's built their factory like this, it'll break your whole factory if you use a previous save game like this, unless you go in and fix all of these. Because now what it wants is the belt to actually go right in front of the inserter. It won't work now like this. So for any factories you've already done like this, you either need to go in and fix them if you want to play 0.12 with it, or just not go in there with 0.12. And reduce number of rendered Roboport connections. The trade in the marketplace only happens if the player can accept the trade items. I'm not sure what this is referring to. I know they mentioned something about a marketplace, but I don't actually think that's in the game yet. I don't believe. Inserters can now extract from Roboports and beacons. It's let's see. Okay, this is the one I was talking about earlier, where I misspoke about there being a mod. Okay, so there's this mechanism added that allows copy-paste across different entities of the same type. For example, assembling machine 1 to assembling machine 2. Apparently you couldn't do that. And this is an important one. From assembling machine to requester chest, sets filter to 2 times requirements of the assembling machine. So this is really important, because say I wanted to make, accumulators. Normally I would have to manually go into a requester chest and set the filters for how much I wanted. Well, now with this feature, you can copy and paste. See if I can give myself a requester chest here. You can copy and paste the recipe requirements from an assembling machine to a requester chest. Apparently not. But yeah, I mean, you get the drift. So, and it does it for 2 times the requirement. So if this requires 2 iron and 5 batteries, then the filter in the chest theoretically would go to 4 iron and 10 batteries for the request amount. Trees have smaller bounding boxes, so it's easier to walk through forest. Power armor modules generate and consume 100 times more power in order to be able to charge construction robots. Player logistic filters are now remembered after respawn in multiplayer. All turrets are now 2x2. Laser turrets are more expensive and powerful, and gun turrets are also more expensive and powerful. So, and the graphics for those have also changed. So here's our laser turret. You can see it looks a lot different than previously, and it's a bit bigger, twice as big, or 4 times as big, to be exact, because it's 2x2. And then our gun turrets also look different, and they are also 2x2. And Roboport tooltip now shows correct numbers of construction and logistic robots separately. So before, when you moused over a Roboport, it just showed the amount of robots active in the network. Now it shows separately the amount of construction and logistic ones. A lot of these, really the only other ones I'm going to go over is overall optimization for train and belt. Heavy factories is roughly 60% compared to 66% compared to 0.11 version. So pretty much this means the game runs 3 times faster. So this is like a really big change because it allows you to build factories way bigger with less lag than you could previously. Optimize transport belt movement, optimize rotated bounding box collisions for trains, optimize smoke update. Pretty much optimizations to a lot of different things to improve the game, how it runs. Graphics. New graphics of combat robots, new graphics of laser gun turrets. Their color is now player/force dependent. New graphics of muzzle flash for player, car, tank, and turrets. New tree graphics. Trees have 4 levels of leaves, and the leaves that are colorable. Trees emit leaves based on the tree color when being mined and destroyed. So if we go, you can see kind of the leaves going everywhere. If you notice, that tree we shot, it's totally healed now. I don't even know which one it was, but it's completely healed. So that's a good example of trees passively healing. Storage tank has a small window showing the liquid inside, which is pretty cool. Combat robots have a new attack animation, which I'll show shortly. New GUI icons. Weapons, ammo, status icons such as out of ammo or out of electricity. As you can see, this out of ammo is a little bit different, the flashing sign for that. And then the GUI icons for these are different. Rocket launcher, combat shotgun, shotgun, and the ammo is also different for the shotgun and combat shotgun piercing rounds. And the rocket and explosive rocket are different. Flamethrower ammo looks different. And yeah, so let's give a rocket a try. I don't know if you could hear that. I'll not talk during it. So the rocket sound is pretty badass. Let's try an explosive one. As you can see, that is a pretty awesome sound. And yeah, so pretty much that's about it. Bug fixes are pretty much the rest of it, and a lot of scripting stuff. So that's really all the really important stuff. And yeah, so this video has been pretty long. The last few things I want to show you is the destroyer capsule graphics and the distractor capsules. I think had their sprites changed. So yeah, this is a very, very large update. It has changed a lot about the game, how the game plays, especially towards the late game. And yeah, there's just so many different improvements. So if we walk out here and find an enemy base somewhere. So if I go ahead and throw out some distractor capsules to show you, you can see the distractor capsule graphics are different, as are destroyer capsules. And the destroyer capsules actually shoot like little electricity beams, which is pretty damn awesome. So if I go ahead and throw this out here, so you can, here's the graphic for these guys. It's pretty awesome. They just like electrocute stuff to death. And yeah, and they actually do electric damage. They used to do laser damage. So electric damage, I believe, is actually a new type of damage in the game. And I obviously have like unlimited follower count since I unlocked all research. So you can also hear the sound the things make when they die. So yeah, these things are pretty damn powerful, and they look awesome while doing it. So I think that goes over pretty much all the major changes. You know, this video is a bit long, but I'll go over them very, very simply in my playthrough as well. But yeah, so you know, just a very, very quick overview. The end game has changed, building the rocket silo now instead of the rocket defense. And a lot of optimizations to both multiplayer and single player to make it run more smoothly. You can copy and paste ingredient or item requirements from an assembling machine to a requester chest into different levels of assembling machines. Graphics have been changed. Multiple graphics as well as sprites and animations. 3 different kinds of combinators have been added to do really complicated and complex stuff with the circuit network. Concrete's been added. You can now place down stone brick. Optimizations for trains. Oh, another new graphic for explosives. New sounds have been added. And I think that really about covers it. Trees have been updated. Look better, multiple types. You can see these look different. Animations when they're being cut and when they fall down. They now passively heal. And personal RoboPort was added to the game. Even the explosions are different. And yeah, so personal RoboPort and logistics trash field added. And that is about it. You know, lamp storage and small pumps and offshore pumps can be added to logistic network, which is pretty awesome. Or not logistics, sorry, circuit network. And oh, pretty much the only other last thing that's really important that I already went over is the science packs and research. They don't get wasted anymore, so they have like a progress bar that they keep. But yeah, so that's about it for now, guys. I hope you found this informative, and I hope it wasn't too long. I wanted to try to go over the major things and show some examples of them. And yeah, you know, if you want to see some 0.12 gameplay, I will be starting a Let's Play actually later today and releasing it today as well. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Definitely update. I would suggest updating, like downloading the zip file separately, so you can keep your other versions like save files. But yeah, that's going to be it. So again, there's a link in the description to the post on the forums where all these changes are listed so you can read about them more in depth. about the smaller things and if I missed anything. So yeah, that'll be it, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I do hope you found this helpful. And yeah, until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.